What if I told you that this man behind me here doesn't have any special connections, doesn't have any special secret, but he's 27 years old, he's on his 5th supercar now, but he's done one thing that's made himself different. Here is Joe, and he has his 812 Superfast with us here.
Whoa! What's up, everybody? Like Cam said, my name is Joe Murphy, 27-year-old entrepreneur on my 5th supercar. This is my 812 Superfast. Before this, the car journey, I started off with a 458 Italia. Still probably my favorite car out of all of them. Then I went to McLaren 720S. Then from there, I also got a Corvette Z06, the new one. So if you think a supercar or not, I'm throwing it in there. I had an Aventor S that was crazy loud with flames. And now I just got my favorite of all of them, 812 Superfast. Not bad.
Not bad. Let's hear this start up here, and we'll give it some revs for you guys. Woo! Not bad. Now that was a warm start. I'll show you the cold start. Wow. Let's hear it. Nice V12. Whoa! Oh wow! Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Talk about the family cruiser trunk space, man. This is elite right here. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Yeah. You could fit some kids back here.
I could fit maybe 3 to 4 kids if you stack them properly back there.
Yeah, you could.
This is the car you get before you get a Porsche, because it's probably as practical as you're gonna get until you get a Turbo S.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. But I agree with this car purchase. This is great. You got an 812 here. You're 27 years old. Tell us about the car. Tell us about your experience with it and buying it and how that feels.
So first off, this car, favorite aspect about it, Ferrari red. I was looking for something a little bit more traditional color stake with this thing. This one popped up local. When I saw the red in person, I said, oh, this is such a mint spec. But I was able to get this car, very good price. 812 Superfast. It's actually not super crazy optioned, which when I was looking for it, I was looking for a car with crazy high options. But then I realized something about some of the options that the car comes with. On my Aventor S, I had a full 1016 kit on that car. I loved it. It looked aggressive. Seeing the carbon was so intense, and I was like, wow, this is fucking fantastic. Yeah. But when I drove that car, lowered and everything, every noise, scratch, creak, dip I would hear would literally make my heart stop for a second. Because I'm thinking of, did I just crack the carbon?
Yeah.
And then I think about, how much is it gonna cost to fix that carbon? Or do I have to buy another $10,000 lip or something like that? All this has that flash black, but if something happens to this, I also own Hollywood's largest collision center. Yeah. So for me to fix this type of stuff versus carbon, absolutely not.
I mean, and one of my favorite parts is the inside here. I mean, I love that red stripe on the inside.
The interior comparison between the two, only being a year apart, this interior is so much better than Lamborghini's interior. Yeah. Like the center console on the Aventador, like that green little center console thing, looks like what I imagine like a 1990s like computer was, like a military-based computer, like those fucking green codes. And stuff like that. This is so much more refined detail, down to like the digital dash, like just the way the digital layout looks modern. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about something that everyone's gonna hate me talking about, but this is my favorite thing about my 812 Superfast. How comfortable this fucking car is. Look at how wide this door opens. Yeah, look at how much room huge to get in and out of here. So for me,
it's like a family cruiser.
That's what I'm saying. It's not the Aventor where it was mid-engine, door went up, loud. Look at me. Look who's going by. We're past that chapter. I'm a refined gentleman now.
You're 27 years old now. Just turned 27, and he's like, I need something more elegant and
A little more
calm
respectful.
and more nice.
Yes.
See, I'm 23, about to be 24 soon, and I drove one of these, and I was like, it's a cruiser car, but I want a race car. So it was a little too comfortable for me. I was a little bit too comfortable. I wanted to be uncomfortable. If I want to be comfortable, I'll be in my Tesla.
You'll get there. I promise you. I was the same exact way. It's fun in games when you get the Aventador and it's loud and 24/7, and there's sometimes you're gonna go, I just want to drive this car just very nicely and calmly and just get somewhere easily. I'm 6'4", 250 pounds. Okay, keep that in mind while you watch me maneuver through this car.
Hey, I mean, that looks pretty easy.
I'm chilling. I got room up here. I got room here. I got room here, and I got all this room right here. This is the best part about this freaking car.
I mean, an Aventador is honestly the opposite of what you wanted. I'm surprised you even made that work.
So that's the key what you just said. I made that car work. I did not fit in that car.
Yeah.
I did not. My headroom did not fit. Physically, I did not fit. I had to make it work. I had to sit on the top half of the seat so I could slouch my back so that I could clear the headroom and then move the steering wheel in a manner where my knees were.
That's just not enjoyable.
It's not. Bought it. I had it. I drove it. I loved it. And now we're over it. Now I'm in my old man, respectable front mid-engine baby.
Very nice. I mean, it looks great. It sounds great. We're gonna go for a drive here and enjoy this car and enjoy the cruising and the pleasantness. Now this car is completely stock still, right?
Completely stock. The only thing it does have from the previous owner, which is a little Easter egg that I'll tell you guys in a second, is the Novatec lowering springs are still in the car. So it looks kind of aggressive in stock because it is lowered to where it should be lowered when it has wheels.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Stance.
Yeah. Well, let's go for a drive and learn more about how he can actually afford this car at 27 years old. So we're here in the 812 Superfast with Joe, and this car is fun, but it's also quite comfortable. I'm really enjoying my time here. So I know you haven't had this car for very long, but have you gotten any tickets?
Yeah, it's funny. I think I got a ticket 3 days ago. I got my first ticket 3 days ago.
Nice. Was speeding or what?
So I was speeding. I wasn't speeding. I was going with the flow of traffic at 11 p.m. at night on a freeway. And this guy, because again, I'm in an 812 at 11 o'clock, and I was going back to my hometown, which is not a great area. Yeah. So I was in one of those all black, no headlight Nissan Sentras. Decided to tail me aggressively. So he literally did not let me slow down, because when I started to slow down, he wasn't braking. He was gonna rear end me. So I just kept cruising for a minute, and then all of a sudden he does a 4-lane change to go on a freeway passing, and I just go, I'm not really going that fast. I'll just keep cruising for another minute. 30 seconds later on the freeway, I get tagged, and the cop pulls me over and literally goes, "That guy was following you, or what was happening?" I was like, I didn't even see where they came from. So that means that they saw what was going down, and they still gave me a speeding ticket, but they were they felt for me because they literally saw some guy tailing me, and I went, "Why did you not go after him?" And they were like, "Well, you're in the Ferrari." And I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I was like, "Bro, what?"
What's been your favorite thing about owning this car? I think you kind of talked about it, your space and the comfortability and just being a bigger guy, being able to fit in it. Is that the favorite thing? Is that the best thing?
I would say that's the best thing from talk about the real about the car. Yeah. But if you want my honest truth about my favorite aspect is, I think this car is the most complete car all around in this era of vehicle. Yeah. So you have, let's just call it 2010 to 2020, that 10-year gap, right? The generation. This car is the most complete car while still being one of the pinnacles. Yeah. So you have Ferrari V12, right? V12 motor. So when this thing gets straight piped and it sounds crazy, it's going to sound insane, because we're talking about a naturally aspirated V12. You can't beat that. I think the cars that are coming out, you're not going to see this anymore, right? Yeah. So there's that first aspect. That's the head tip. Yeah. Then you add the fact that it's front mid-engine. So people who know what that is, most cars, Aventador, Huracan, all that stuff like that, is mid-engine cars. So where we're sitting right now, the motor would be right behind us. Well, this car has the motor in front of us, but it's not built like a Corvette or something like that, where the motor is way out there, where you feel like you're driving a boat. It's actually front mid-engine, which is a term for the motor's in front of you, but it sits behind the front axle. So the motor starts like where your feet are. So it actually handles a lot more because the center of gravity on where the car is similar to mid-engine. Not exactly, but similar. So the car is actually planted and centered more than what a normal car would be for the motor being in the front. So it still handles fucking clean. Plus, this car comes stock with 790 horsepower, which is a lot of power.
Really fast.
Really fucking fast.
Really
literally stupid fast. Super fast. Quite literally.
Super fast, yes.
And then my favorite part, which I didn't realize enough before I bought the car because I guess I didn't think to research this. But you know how the Ferrari 458, which you guys know that I had, has that 9,000 red line? Why it makes that car so great that it's got the flat plane crank, naturally aspirated V8 that revs to 9,000. Most people don't know, this revs to 9,000. So now you have a 9,000 red line V12.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the last thing I'll say that makes it a complete car, the last two things that make it a complete car, obviously the space, how comfortable it is. You guys saw the trunk space, you saw how I fit, how comfortable Cam is. Cam and I are both over 6 foot, well over 6 foot. We're chilling, we're not even really bumping into it, we're chilling. The key thing here is the car has a dual clutch transmission.
You're sick of the single clutch.
Bro, so a lot of the people that have never had the opportunity to drive either a single clutch car or B, an Aventador. The Aventador is so fantastic because it does one thing better than any other car, which depending on the type of car guy you are, is the best aspect of any car is sound. That sound is insane. And it's because probably the most notarized sound of any vehicle we ever have, right? Like that V12. Well, the thing about it that makes it kind of ass but kind of enjoyable is the single clutch. It's so clunky, it's so just that it's like a draining experience. Well, this car having a dual clutch makes it so much more enjoyable, but because it's still a V12 9,000 redline, it doesn't take away from the numbingness. Like the single clutch was shitty, but like it felt like you were driving something fun. But this car still feels crazy fun, and it's smooth, and I don't worry about the clutch being stally or having problems. It's the best complete car in its generation, in my opinion.
So most people in their 20s could only dream to afford to have a car like this. What makes you different? What separates you? Because like you didn't come from money, you weren't just given this car. What did you do that really makes you different, separates you, and allows you to have a Ferrari literally in your 20s?
So I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that I'm some fucking genius or anything like that. I'm no different than literally any other person that's alive on the planet. But I will say the two things that I think really make me a little bit different is, one, I have an obsessive personality when it comes to things that I want to accomplish. Like when I set my mind on something, like I'm going to do this or I'm going to get this or anything, I become legitimately obsessive with whatever it is. And I'm talking from the sake of like getting in shape, making money, whatever, even like, and it's gonna sound crazy, even after like we're chasing like relationships or whatever it is, if I set my mind on it, it becomes my life. It's kind of crazy to say, but there's really nothing that I'm willing to there's nothing that I'm not willing to sacrifice to get there. I think people underestimate sacrifice. Like I have this philosophy. Everybody starts their life in a different position, different cards, whatever. And I know it's crazy to think, but some people are born into some of the wealthiest families you can possibly imagine. Some people are born into some of the worst poverty situations that exist. The thing is, not every single person can be successful, but they have to realize where they're at, where they want to be, and the amount of sacrifice that is required to get there is different. But you have to be willing to make that sacrifice. Some people are born into situations where they're going to work their ass off for 10 years and not spend any money because they need to save it all to have enough money to even start something to be able to be in a position to be successful. Versus some people, might get lucky and have a little bit of capital very early on, they have the starting point there. So their sacrifice journey starts at a higher springboard than somebody else. But there's a pathway to success no matter where you're at. It's a sole matter of, do you have what it takes to withstand it? And are you really down to make the necessary sacrifices? Then it is. If that means you're 21, you have no money in your name, that means you're eating ramen noodles and living at home for 5 years while you save every single dollar you make, that's what the sacrifice is. Yeah. Or did you get lucky and you might have a little bit of money hit from something, and now instead of doing that, you're actually having to open a business. But again, you're not living lavish, you're not living crazy, you're literally doing the bare minimum to save, to be able to jump on opportunities when they come. I think one thing too that people underestimate is like, you got to be a little twisted. And when I say that, like, I don't mean fucking whack job. I mean like, you got to have a little bit of crazy to you, because to do some of the things it takes to be successful, if you tell a normal person that wants to live a normal life what you do, they'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, if I told you that for the last 4 years I get 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and I literally, all I do is work to the point where like people invite me out and to do certain things, and I'm like, I can't, like I need 5 hours of sleep minimum, like I can't do this, I lose friendships, all this stuff. They go, well, what's the point? You're not living your life. That's not the life that you don't want to live. Yeah. The life that I want to live requires this amount of stuff. Yeah. So you got to be a little fucking sideways to be able to endure, and to be even you tell me some of your stories, like where you were able to get like your social media start and some of the stuff you did. Like, you got to be kind of crazy to even be in some of the positions that you were in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, even driving a car like this and doing crazy shit on the internet, you got to be a little wacko to even do the stuff in the first place. Yeah. So you got to be a little twisted, just a little. Almost like you got to be on the spectrum type shit. Is kind of what I mean.
I do get called that a lot.
Exactly. I think we're all our own form of something weird. Yeah. Whether it's ADHD, whether it's autism, whatever it is, our brains work in a specific way, and if we figure out how to balance it and make ourselves optimal in our weird way, there's no cap on where we can be and what we can achieve.
So I know you do a little bit of day trading, you have a body shop, like, so tell us about like your start and like, especially with trading, because I know so many people are interested in that and like learning about that and learning how to make money on the internet and making money online, and like you've been able to do it successfly, at least enough to get this car. Yeah. Let's hear about that. And
so my journey started when I was in college. Yeah. I went to a small Christian school to play football. And while I was in business finance major. I ended up getting my business finance master's degree afterwards. While I was in, like, I think my sophomore year of college, while I was in a business class, I like sat next to a kid that I'd never met or talked to. And then like halfway through the semester, I like start to notice that like the kid next to me has never fucking looked up or paid attention to our teacher ever. Like, and I'm not kidding when I say ever. Like, this kid is never, ever, ever, ever. I'm doing the craziest driving.
Yeah, we're just gonna cross all the ways right now as you tell this story.
He's never looked up one time, and I finally go, all right, what the fuck is he doing? Right? I'm paying attention, and he's not. I finally look at his screen, and all I'm seeing is a bunch of red and green shit. Like, I don't know what's going on, but he hasn't picked his head up one time. So I talked to him, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, dude, I'm trading. What the fuck is that? He's like, I'm trading crypto. I was like, I don't even know what that is. And he's like, and then we start talking. He explains to me, I don't know what's going on. So then I spend the rest of that semester not paying attention and just kind of like looking at what he's doing, right? Because then he shows me the next class. He's like, look, I'm in a trade right now. Low-key's about to close out. Like, I think I'm gonna make like maybe 4 or 5 grand on this trade. Like, what do you think you're gonna make 4 or 5 grand? He's like, I'm gonna make 4 or 5 grand right now. He's like, bullshit. And he did it. And again, crypto. This was circa 2018. Back in the day, crypto wasn't even that popular. It was gaining popularity, but it wasn't crazy. And trading, I didn't know what it was. So then he taught me, he learned, and then when he made that money in front of me, and I'm playing football, going to school, not making any money, I was actually driving DoorDash, and I worked at a golf course as like an agricultural worker. Like, you know the guys at 5 a.m. that like mow the lawn and rake the bunkers and stuff like that? I did that.
You You were roughing it.
I was roughing it because it was the only time slot that I could work because I had class and practice everywhere else. So when he made that money, I was like, dude, what? I was like, I can do that during class. I went on YouTube, bro, and I obsessed over like learning whatever it is. Then I discovered like the stock market trading, which I was familiar with because obviously I'm a finance major, so I know about it. But trading like that to that scale was still new because they don't teach you trading in college. They teach you financials and how to read sheets and break down all stuff like that, but they don't teach you actually trading commodities and shit like that during school. So then from there, I discovered a guy named Ricky Gutierrez, who I'm friends with to the day. And he was a stock trader in Scottsdale, Arizona at the time. He was I think he's maybe 2 or 3 years older than me. So when I was a sophomore, he was, I don't think he graduated ASU or some shit like that. But he had a house and a C7 Z06. And he was 23 or some shit like that. He was a day trader. So I was like, fuck, this guy has kind of what I want. And he's a couple years older than me and he's doing this shit. I was like, so it's gotta work to some degree. So then he actually was one of the first people that had like a group course type thing back then. When courses weren't like so fucking drinking water. And I joined it. It was called Learn, Plan, Profit. I joined it, and thankfully he ended up being like a very legitimate teacher to the point where like there was no call outs. He wouldn't even really let you see him take positions. He would just talk you through shit. Like he'd be talking, showing you what he's doing, telling you what he's doing, but he wouldn't like, he made it like a curriculum too where you didn't depend on him. Like he really gave you the tools to learn. But I didn't really know what I was doing. So I started trying shit, spending a little bit of money, making a little bit of money, losing it all. I finally get to a point where like I'm semi-profitable, and I finally exit and I finally go through enough accounts to the point where I semi-learned what it was to be profitable, and I finally realized what the 4 things that made it a difference. And what those things were simplicity and emotional control. I remember when I was first trading, I would take a couple $100 trades, not options, on shares. So you're talking, I'm buying $500 worth of shares, which means if it goes up 5%, which is a really decent move with shares, I would get, was it fucking $50? But that was where I started. So I realized like, okay, I'm doing this enough, consistent enough. I'm not seeing crazy returns, but my setups are winning. I'm not overly emotional with the amount of money I'm winning or losing because it's not a crazy amount. Even for me at the time, it was a good amount of money because I'm a freaking just out of college kid. But the biggest thing was I was winning and I wasn't feeling crazy about losing and or winning. It was perfect, right? So the next thing I realized was, okay, I'm doing what I need to do right. The only difference now is the money. Only difference now. 5% gain on $500 is fucking $50. 5% gain on $50,000, $5,000. You feel me? So I was doing the right things without the money. So now I'm like, okay, I just need the money. And this is where people can't fathom, nor do they want to sacrifice. How do I get that money? Start working, start businesses, let's make some money while I saved, and everything I saved added to my trading account so that I could take bigger positions with the same trades and scale. Because the only difference for me making money was scaling. Because I already had the system down. So I started, again, I started the collection center, started scaling that, was buying real estate, scaling that, and then of course trading simultaneously. So all those 3 things compounded together where I was able to put money away and make money to the point where I was able to take bigger trades and see a compound effect through trading. I'm not stressing. The money's not too much where if I lose a big position, I'm not going to kill myself. And it's a systematic approach. Here's the part where it separates everybody. This is 7 years in the making. It's taken me 7 years to get to today where I can have that money available to make these trades, to make that money. 4 years ago, I wasn't trading with 6 figures. I didn't take $10,000 options plans. Again, I was a normal kid, trying to start businesses, trying to hustle, trading. But what I knew was if I delayed my gratification of not spending money, I wasn't out at nightclubs drinking, I wasn't doing drugs, I didn't have a nice car, I wasn't expending on vacations. I spent every day working at the gym and putting money away so that I could one day be in a place where if I saw a 20% opportunity on a stock, I had 6 figures to spend on it, or I could make crazy money. Now, I spend a little here, have an 812, have cool friends, go do dumb shit.
Yeah.
Now we're at that point.
Yeah.
But it took me 7 years. Everybody wants to get rich.
Yeah.
Quick money is not long money.
Yeah.
Well, slow money is long money.
Yeah.
Not long.
No, I mean, I don't trade, and I would consider myself an expert in trading, but like, I mean, I what I do is I just follow Bitcoin, I follow Ethereum, and it's really simple. I buy when it goes down, and when it goes up, I sell a little bit, and that's essentially it.
That's it.
Like, all I do is I just like keep a tab, and I just see where the numbers are at, and this is very simple. Like, not my job, like. I don't claim to be an expert in any of it, but like, I'll just, when I see like, oh shoot, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, like it's getting hammered right now, it's really low, like let me buy some. And then when I see, oh, Bitcoin is pumping, like it just ran up 30% in the last like 2 days, I'm gonna start to sell some and make some money, you know, and that's really it. Don't get FOMO, don't have the fear of missing out when you have a really good, when it's like going up and you're like, oh shoot, I'm missing out, let me buy. Don't do that. Just when it's getting hammered and everyone's scared, that's when you buy. When you're scared, when you're freaking out. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm tripping a little bit, like it's going really low. like this is bad.
So I'm gonna say 2 things for all you younger viewers that are watching this, right? Number 1, I call this the reverse masses thought process. When everybody that is not involved in something detailed aspect, they don't do it on a day-to-day basis, they don't do it every day, is going, hey man, this whole thing is like really pumping, like maybe I should buy some. You always do the reverse index of whatever the masses are doing. So if everybody's finally talking like, dude, this Bitcoin thing's going pretty high, like, now's the time to buy, sell.
Yeah.
Sell fucking everything, top signal.
Yeah.
When everybody's like, dude, that whole thing is a scam, we're gonna go to zero, all that stuff, you buy boatloads.
Yeah.
It's the reverse masses, and there's a real reason, and this is part of something that nobody likes to talk about, and I don't care even if you're scared for me to say something like this on the YouTube video. There's a reason why there's successful people and not successful people. There's a certain amount of risk tolerance and being able to take a risk and having the balls to take a risk. But it's literally just understanding that the entire economy and every major economy in the world is built off of stocks, valuations, real estate. That stuff's not going away. Crypto's not going away. So no matter how hard Bitcoin gets bit down, and I'll throw Ethereum in there because I think it's going to get to the point there, but Bitcoin's the first one, so it's the one that I know for a fact is not going away. No matter how beaten up it gets, it's going to recover. Sure, if you buy a little early, you maybe buy a little too late, it's fine. But as long as you have a right time horizon, you're chilling. You'll always make your thing back. The second thing is, any younger male watching this, I believe there's 4 pillars. Everybody talks about, you know, like we're in the day and age where everyone's like, you gotta have multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
Yes and no. If you're a young male, let's say you're in your late teens, early 20s, early 30s, mid-late 30s, mid-late 20s, whatever it is. There's 4 pillars that make a successful male in today's day and age. Some type of main income source of business. Whether that's a really good paying job or a business, it's fine. Real estate awareness, whether that's actually owning property, wholesaling, doing flips, whatever, you need to be involved in it because that's the ultimate end game. If you're in real estate, that's where you eventually want to end everything.
Yeah.
Financials, whether that's crypto, stocks, whatever, you need to have your money making money while you're also actively working, or else you're never going to really make it to the scales of rich until 30 years on the line. You don't want to do that. So you want to be aware of what's going on and have some type of presence in the stock world or the crypto world. And the 4th thing is social media. You got to be on social media. You got to have some validity. And I'm not talking about trying to show off or have a highlight reel. I'm talking about having a presence of people hear you speak, know what you're about, to the point where other people can see it, and that's how relationships form that you'll benefit from and will boost you. Because even like you and me, we met through cars, Monterey Car Week. You had no idea who I was. I had no idea who you was. Yeah. Our freaking autistic friend Austin is the one that introduced us, which was enough for us to go, okay, if you're friends with Austin, we're at least something in the nature. Yeah. Now we're in the point where we're hanging out. We hang all the time. We text fucking every day, damn near. Yeah. And it's through a commonality, but you and I have those 4 things in common. Yeah. Social media presence, even though yours is fucking 90x of what mine is. We both do real estate. We both do some type of stock or crypto. And we both have an active business that we're making money from. Yeah. But those are the 4 pillars, and that's why you can have all the cars and everything you want, and that's why I can have everything I want, because without those 4 things, granted, there's small scale and high scale, but unless you start, you're never going to get to high scale. Yeah. Once you can conquer those 4 things, it's very hard to lose.
And you don't need to be an influencer, and you don't need to like be a cringy influencer or whatever that means, but just being on social media and having some sort of personal brand is so important. I mean, I talk about that so much in my videos about how important that is, but I wouldn't know over half the people, 70-80% of the people I know today without social media. I wouldn't have the connections I have, I wouldn't have the leverage I have, I wouldn't be able to work with the brands and travel the world and do all these things without the social media presence, without the personal brand. And it gives you so much validity and so much, it's literally like your ID card of 2025. It's like, hey, my Instagram, that's me. Like this is what I'm about, this is what I like to do, this is what I'm good at. Like, this is me, and like people come to that, and that brings you more opportunities for your business, for your personal life, whatever it may be. Right. So,
and I think it's more. This is something that I think is unpopular. I think having a personal brand is more valuable than having. I don't want to say this incorrectly because I'm almost contradicting myself. But like, if you have a business, right? I think you should focus less on promoting your business directly, rather than promoting your personal self. For example, I own the largest collision center in Hollywood, California. That has no Instagram, that has nothing. I've built it on word of mouth and my own brand. If you meet me, you know how solid a human being I am and what I do. There's an instant connection to any business I'm in because of who I am and who you see. Now, the reason I do that is because as the business itself, in the specific business I'm in, this can vary between your businesses, because a lot of businesses need social media heavy. My business, I'm working on cars, dealing with insurance companies, dealing with vendors. If I focused on the social media too much, I wouldn't be doing the work necessary to make the business profitable and make sense, because it's a little untraditional. We're fixing cars, where I'm dealing with adjusters, I'm dealing with clients, I'm dealing with rental car companies, I'm dealing with parts vendors, I'm dealing with material vendors, quality control. There's a lot of attention to detail. So if, like, for example, I always talk shit about this, and this is one thing I talk about. If you find a collision center or any type of automotive business, and you go there, and it looks like the most clean, prestigious place in the world, run. No automotive place should be squeaky clean and crazy, I guess, like street presentable, if that makes sense. Because the work we do is not clean, it's not pretty, it's not grimy, it's grimy work is what it is. Yeah. And if they have enough time to be cleaning and making it so presentable, they're not spending enough time on getting the work out and doing the jobs and everything else in between. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I haven't heard that before.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where, like, for example, I know you are always promoting, hey, business needs social media and stuff like that, and you're right, a lot of businesses do need that. But one business that I own that you won't see social media presence from is that business. Supercar Connection, social media presence. My real estate, I post about it. My stocks, I post about it. Yeah. I post about it. Yeah. But that specifically, and the only reason I don't is because the time it would take for me to do all that takes away from the work I do. And then on top of that, to have a clean place, like I could post and you would see my place and you would go, what the fuck? Like, you've been in my place, you've seen it. Yeah. It's not this curb appeal, crazy nice place, but shit gets done. Yeah. Every single day. We're about 20,000 square foot facility. I have about a 10-team crew, and we do 50 to 60 cars a month, all claims. That means I don't do PPF work, I don't do any of these little minor mods, I don't do any minor little things. I only do claims because I have enough workflow to only do claims. There's a lot of places out there that talk about we do like fucking 3,000 cars a month, but a lot of the times it's fucking somebody comes in, for a little rim repair, or like they nick the edge of their bumper, so we're just touching up, it's out. I only do insurance claims, which is fucking 20 to 30 day timeline jobs, and I do 40, 50 cars a month, which is a lot out of that type of place. Yeah. So if we spent any time doing anything else, you wouldn't get the work done. I'm blessed to be able to do that. And that's kind of what my unpopular opinion is.
So there you have it, you guys. You learned a lot about Joe Murphy here, everything that he does, and there's a lot of really valuable information, a lot of really valuable nuggets that I hope you get from this. We got something, he's getting a call right now. I mean, it is Mother's Day, and we're out here working and filming a video, but this car is awesome. Thank you for giving me a ride in it. I really enjoyed it, and I was quite comfortable, and honestly learned a lot as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Share this with your friends, your family, your grandmother, whoever you want, really. You got any last words for us here?
Last words would be, follow me on my socials, guys, if you guys want any more information, even ask any questions. I answer all my DMs, I'm active. My socials are SCCJGM on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm always down to have a conversation and help anybody out, because at the end of the day, the biggest impact we can make is helping others, and I want everybody to win.
I'll link everything down below, and remember, just don't quit.